Up next, we also have the Director General of International Solar Alliance, which is one of its kind multilateral organization that's established to catalyze solar growth. We have with us none other than Dr. Ajay Mathur, and we'd like to have him on the stage here on the dais so that he can share with us his special address on enabling energy transition that's impacting climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage Dr. Ajay Mathur.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, it's a great pleasure. As was said earlier, a few years ago, this kind of a meeting was just not possible. But the fact that you are here, that I am here, tells us that we have moved. What have we moved on? I come from the energy industry, and I'd like to focus on the two areas of change that are happening. One is on the demand side. We are using less energy per activity. And please note, I don't say per person, it's per activity. We are a poor country. We are increasing our access to energy, but we are using it more carefully. किफायत से इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. And on the other side, we are greatly increasing the supply of electricity from things like renewables, in particular solar, which I represent. In the past few years, we have seen a huge growth on the demand side, on the energy efficiency side. An air conditioner that is sold today on an average uses less than half, 40% of the energy that it used in 2007. So if you buy a 1.5-ton air conditioner today, it will use 40% of the energy that it used in 2007. To me, this is great. I am delighted that we are able to move ahead on this. We are seeing that our large industries use much less energy. For example, a cement plant uses approximately 20% less energy, electricity and heat combined, to make a ton of cement than it did in 2012. Our cement industry is the most energy efficient in the world. Yes, it is the second largest, but it is the most energy efficient. These are great stories. These are stories on how the work that we do touches us in our lives. Does this lead to savings? Yes, of course it does. Because when you use a high star rated air conditioner, you are using less electricity than you would if you were using a low star air conditioner or a non-starred air conditioner, if it was possible to get it. In the last 1 year, we have seen that the savings have led to approximately nearly 400 million tons of carbon dioxide savings. This is huge, but it tells you that this is only the first step. Yes, of course, we need to add more energy, but we need to use it more efficiently. Let me share with you one of the issues that has bothered many of us for a long time. We are seeing that we have to grow, and yet we have to grow more sustainably. There is a huge difference between those countries which have already developed, which have matured in terms of energy use per person, and countries like us which are still in the process of development. We would like that they are looked at separately. If they have to be looked at together, then you have to look at some kind of metric which helps us measure. To us, the metric is the cost of round-the-clock renewable energy. And I focus on round the clock. Solar electricity is now available at about 2 rupees per unit, but only when the sun is shining. But solar and wind and storage together can provide electricity at 5 rupees or less per kilowatt hour. This is great because new coal power stations produce electricity at more than 5 rupees per kilowatt hour. This is amazingly important and gives us the hope that tomorrow all electricity development would be based on renewables, solar, wind, and to make it all the time available, you add storage as well. But you minimize the storage by adding both solar and wind. However, when we look at upscaling, what does matter? It matters that we should have land. If you get a solar project or a wind project, you win, where will you put it? It is important that we are able to find land, pockets of land where these projects can be done. Pockets of land are also important because then you can draw transmission lines from there. Imagine if you had solar at one place, wind at another place, and storage at a third place. You would have three transmission lines, each operating at what? 30% efficiency, capacity utilization. But if you have them all at one place, then you can have transmission lines which operate at 90% capacity utilization. It is important, therefore, that we create these land pockets. Have we done it? Yes, we have. If you see places in Gujarat, if you see places in Karnataka, there are land pockets which have been made available. But it implies that the government and the private sector have to work together. The government can work towards acquiring the land. The private sector has to pay the government to get that land. Many, many years ago, in Tamil Nadu, we saw first that land was bought for wind machines. Then we saw that land was leased for wind machines. Then we saw that the leasing was only of the size over which the wind machine was put. What it tells us is that at the end of the day, we cannot have a situation in which there is a fight between land for agriculture on the one side and land for energy on the other. We have to find ways of doing both. And this is a great answer to that. Another great answer is agrivoltaics. You have production on the land, agricultural production, but you also have electricity generation that allows farmers to be producers of both crops and of energy. We need to see how we can make this large scale. The last issue that I'd like to focus on for upscaling is that of money. As I said earlier, solar plus wind plus storage can give us electricity at less than 5 rupees a kilowatt hour. But the capital cost is much more. The capital cost of doing 100 megawatts of coal power plant would be about 900 crores. But to do an equivalent that provides enough electricity to meet our needs all the time would be about 1920 crores. Almost double, more than double. How will that be available? It can be made available. Of course, India is a large economy, but it can be made available by reducing the time that a debt is available to a project developer. You can retire that debt in 3 years. A project comes up in 2 years, and after that, 1 year of repayment, and then it can be retired. And instead, the money that is used is from bonds. So bonds, your retirement money and mine, can be used to fund that, and it gets regular returns because we get returns from those renewable energy facilities. I think if all of us work together, we can make a change. Renewables, energy efficiency have together shown that the future is possible. We need to work together to see that the sun shines on the sustainable development of tomorrow. Thank you all very, very much.